Coronation on Saturday in a whistle-stop 28-hour visit in which he reportedly spoke to neither his father nor his brother. So after destroying his relationship with the royal family through a string of bombshell accusations in his memoir, Spare,
Prince Harry's carefully crafted escape to freedom fairy tale completely shattered. And this time, it isn't just another tabloid rumor. It's personal, humiliating, and devastating. Angela Levin, the royal biographer who has studied Harry for years, has pulled the mask right off the Sussex brand. What she revealed? A marriage in crisis, a prince adrift, and a future built on nothing but shaky illusions. Remember when Harry and Meghan were painted as the ultimate love story? The fairy tale couple who walked away from royal duty to build a life of freedom? Well, Levin's explosive words have cracked that glass castle wide open. What's left inside isn't a dream. It's resentment, regret, and ruthless ambition eating away at their marriage.
walking into that abbey, he was glaring at his brother from across the room. And then he doesn't even bother to stay to speak to his dad.
Congratulations. Yes.
New low.
Here's the thing. These revelations aren't the usual palace gossip. Levin is not throwing around idle speculation. No, this is backed by observed behavior, insider whispers, and even Harry's own contradictions in public. And the picture is crushing. The prince who once charmed the world with cheeky independence, that glint in his eye and confidence that lit up a room, he's gone. Instead, what stands before the cameras today is a man controlled, isolated, and increasingly humiliated for the whole world to see. Levin didn't soften her words. She painted Harry as a man who looks tense, robotic, and miserable at every outing. And honestly, she's not wrong. We've all seen it. The clenched jaw, the stiff body, the way his laugh feels forced now. The sparkle is gone, replaced by a haunted look of someone trapped.
I thought it was a new low, but I thought it was a new low in confidence. I think he found it incredibly difficult to walk down that aisle.
So you think it was a facade because he looked arrogant outwardly?
I think he does. Well, when I was with him, he does that as a protector.
The confident prince, the one who could charm anyone with a grin, gone. In his place is a man whose body language screams defeat, a husband who can't even answer a question without glancing sideways at Meghan for approval, like a schoolboy terrified of slipping up. Slouched shoulders, hesitant words, eyes that dart nervously. It's not just the public noticing. Insiders whisper that even Harry's closest friends can feel the chasm. This isn't a partnership. This is a man dragging behind a contract, desperately trying to keep up. And then come the whispers, the ones that cut Harry to his core.
He pretends he's all cocky, knows it all, but actually he's crying inside. I think it was a very awful event for him because he was all...
Rumors swirl that Meghan always had a backup plan in Hollywood. Another romance, another opportunity, another safety net, just in case Harry didn't work out. Whether it's true or not almost doesn't matter because the implication is enough to slice into Harry's deepest insecurities. Was he ever truly the one? Or was he just the most useful piece on Meghan's chessboard? She needed a royal title, a prince to elevate her star. He needed an escape. But what happens when one chess piece is no longer useful? Insiders say Harry rages behind closed doors, not because he doubts Meghan's loyalty, but because these whispers expose his biggest fear, that he was never truly chosen for who he was, but for what he could offer. And here's the kicker. Levin says Harry's fury isn't just aimed at the monarchy anymore. It's spilling into his own home. Publicly, he keeps up his relentless attacks on his family. But privately, insiders claim that fury is aimed straight at Meghan. He resents her, they whisper. He resents being pushed into endless battles with the crown. He resents the constant war. He resents being trapped in California, oceans away from the traditions and people who once gave his life purpose. Once Harry was the proud soldier prince, the Invictus hero, the cheeky rebel adored across the globe. Now, he feels stripped of every identity he once owned.
His cousins are all with their partners now, and there he was at the back, alone. I thought it was really sad that Meghan couldn't actually overcome her feelings, and although I didn't want her there, I felt that he needed it. He's very vulnerable, and he has got these mental health issues.
And the cruelest twist? Meghan convinced him that this so-called freedom would fix everything, that leaving the royal family was their golden ticket. But instead of liberation, Harry has been left isolated, bitter, and unrecognizable. And while Harry spirals, what's the palace doing? Are they scrambling to win him back? Not at all. They're playing the long game. Angela Levin revealed Buckingham Palace's quiet, devastating strategy: patience. They know Meghan's Hollywood empire is cracking. They know Harry's credibility is slipping. They know money doesn't flow like it used to, and so they wait. No panicked press releases, no desperate reconciliations, just silence and time.
Health issues, and it was very difficult for him. But on the other hand, he didn't look at his father as he came down the aisle. He didn't look, he just kept his face in a different direction. He gave William
Occasionally they toss Harry a bone, an invitation to attend this or that event, but always at arm's length. It's a masterclass in royal strategy. The message is crystal clear: you left us, but we're still here. And while Meghan runs around California scrambling for deals, the crown sits back, calm, calculating, letting her empire collapse under its own weight. And collapse it is. Spotify cut ties, calling their podcast deal a disaster. Netflix, once a golden contract, now reportedly scaled back. The Hollywood dream Harry and Meghan sold to the world, it's unraveling, fast.
Huge grimace because he's full of jealousy.
And he could barely even sing the words to the national anthem.
No, he just did one line, didn't he? He did one line and then shut up.
And at the late Queen's funeral, he couldn't sing God Save the Queen. He loved God Save.
Harry, who once enjoyed the cushion of royal wealth and taxpayer funding, now faces the brutal math of his new reality. A $14 million Montecito mansion doesn't pay for itself. The A-list lifestyle doesn't come cheap. Insiders reveal this has become one of the sharpest points of tension in their marriage. Meghan pushes harder. More projects, more deals, more appearances. Harry? He's exhausted, burnt out, growing angrier by the day. The dream of freedom is cracking into a nightmare. And so, the stage is set. The opening act of Harry's humiliation is complete. A marriage visibly crumbling, a man consumed by resentment, a palace playing chess while he fumbles through checkers, and a financial empire collapsing like a house of cards. But this is only the beginning. Because if Angela Levin is right, the story isn't just about a broken marriage. It's about what comes next. And what comes next could be even more brutal. Let's pick up where things get even darker, because Angela Levin didn't just stop at Harry's fading marriage. She tore into the collapse of his legacy, his social world, and the cruel realization that the man once celebrated as a hero prince has now been reduced to Meghan's +1. The humiliation runs deep. Harry was once admired as the soldier who risked his life in Afghanistan, the man who founded the Invictus Games, standing proudly with wounded veterans, the cheeky rebel who could charm anyone with a grin. That man commanded respect. He was a leader in his own right. But today, that man has vanished. Now Harry looks less like a leader and more like Meghan's spokesperson. Every public word seems rehearsed, polished by PR handlers, and conveniently tied back to Meghan's project. Angela Levin delivers the harshest blow yet. Harry has gone from a man of action to a man of sound bites. And the saddest part? Everyone can see it.
And when the Archbishop of Canterbury said, "God save the King," and everybody called that out, the camera went onto him. He didn't do it. So he wanted to be there, but he didn't want to be there.
That cheeky smile, the grin that once melted hearts at Diana's funeral walk, or while laughing with veterans, gone, replaced with a scowl, tense jaw, and eyes that seem permanently drained. Even his posture has betrayed him. No longer upright and commanding, but slouched, hesitant, defeated. Levin doesn't mince words. She calls him a broken man. And you know what? The evidence is plain as day. The soldier prince has become the sulking husband. And then came the cruelest twist of all, Hollywood's cold shoulder. In the early days, Meghan and Harry were on every red carpet, mingling with every A-lister, the it couple of Montecito. But now, invitations are dwindling. The star-studded tables they once graced are suddenly quieter. Insiders whisper that the Sussex brand has become too toxic, too needy, too exhausting. Producers see Harry not as an asset, but as a liability. His entire identity tied to Meghan. Instead of prestige, they bring drama. And Hollywood, a place built on ruthless networking, has little patience for baggage. This right here is perhaps Harry's greatest humiliation. He gave up the crown for Hollywood's embrace, only to discover Hollywood never truly wanted him. But it doesn't end there. Angela Levin also points to Harry's social collapse. In California, he's increasingly cut off from the army comrades and old friends who once grounded him. Meghan's influence on their circle has left him surrounded not by lifelong allies, but by carefully curated acquaintances from her world. And when those Hollywood acquaintances step back, what's left for Harry? Nothing but isolation. Montecito may look like paradise with its palm trees and million-dollar views, but for Harry, it's a gilded cage. Insiders say he spends long stretches, restless and alone, longing for the camaraderie of his military brothers. But Meghan's Hollywood world doesn't include them, and so, the man who once lit up every room he entered is now a man without a tribe. Angela Levin delivers her most devastating point yet. This marriage was never truly built for the long haul, at least not in the way Harry hoped. Meghan has her brand, her deals, her ambitions. Harry, he's just the accessory, and accessories can be swapped. Insiders even speculate Meghan has positioned herself cleverly. Hollywood connections, business ventures, her own narrative. If the marriage ends, Meghan walks away stronger, more independent, her star intact. Harry, on the other hand, he's cut off from the crown, cut off from Hollywood, and cut off from the family he abandoned. The brutal truth is chilling. Meghan doesn't need Harry anymore. Harry needs Meghan. And that imbalance? It's a ticking time bomb. So here we are. Angela Levin's exposé doesn't just highlight cracks in their marriage, it paints the tragic portrait of a man dismantled by his own choices. The rebel prince who once stood shoulder to shoulder with soldiers, who charmed the globe, who carried Diana's legacy, has now become the forgotten husband, dragged through a Hollywood dream that was never really his. And while Harry fumes, sulks, and lashes out the palace, they wait. Silent, patient, unbothered. Meghan? She keeps building, strategizing, pushing forward. But the cruelest voices aren't even from the palace or Hollywood. They're from the public. Because as Angela Levin made clear, sometimes the harshest judgment comes not from journalists or insiders, but from the millions of ordinary people online. And those voices, they've had enough. Across Twitter, Instagram, forums, and comment sections, there's one refrain: we're tired. Tired of the excuses, tired of the victimhood, tired of the endless Hollywood performance. On Netflix reviews, the knives are out. Some call their documentary a therapy session nobody asked for. Others go even further. Harry looks like a hostage blinking for help. And then came the most brutal take of all. He gave up a crown for a crown of thorns. And Meghan is the one holding the nails. Think about that. A prince who once represented resilience and cheeky rebellion, now seen as a man trapped, humiliated, and stripped of dignity. Angela Levin didn't just expose a broken marriage, she exposed a broken man. The rebel prince has become the shadow husband. The boy who once walked behind his mother's coffin as the world wept is now walking alone in a California mansion that feels emptier with every passing day. And here's the haunting question Angela Levin leaves hanging in the air. What happens when Meghan decides she no longer needs Harry at all? Because if that day comes, and many believe it will, it won't just be the end of a marriage. It will be the end of Prince Harry as we knew him. The palace will endure, Meghan will rebuild. But Harry, he may be left with nothing. No crown, no Hollywood stage, no family, and no identity. And that, right there, is the cruelest ending of all. Cruelest ending of all.